Take two.
Well,
Excellent. Blessed are you who see me and believe. Blessed more for those who have not seen and believe. Tell no one what you have seen until I am raised from the dead. Now prepare my way. My time has come.
The film is simply a retelling of the New Testament, the Gospels of the New Testament. You know, there's 4 books written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and it deals with the life of Christ, life of Jesus Christ. And one of the particular things about this particular film about the life of Christ is that it features a black Jesus. Jesus African American in the film, and he's from the projects. He's from the San Francisco project, and that's one significant thing about it. And the other thing is just that it's the life of Christ, which has been told many times. And my particular angle on the film is not so much to prove that Christ was a black man or to even make that statement, but to show African Americans and blacks throughout the world another image of Christ. The story itself doesn't change the story of Christ. It doesn't give it any new gimmicks, or it doesn't deviate from the Gospels at all. So that's basically what the story is about. This is about the life of Christ, featuring Christ as a black man, and it propagandizes the faith a little bit. Spreads talks about Christianity. So when people see it, hopefully they'll have a discussion about Christ and Christianity in itself, and of course the discussion about the white Jesus versus the black Jesus and all that type of stuff.
Brings to mind a lot of things, just your upbringing and your background. And I think as a black person as well, we have such a church background, whether you're Baptist or AME or whether you're sanctified, whatever. And my family comes from, Kentucky. I mean, you go to church. It's the thing, and that's what you do all day Sunday and several times during the week. So it's important. Okay, that's cool. And then plus, this is a rather contemporary story. I mean, Jesus is coming down not to save us from like locusts, but from crack and homelessness, and I think just been, and here in San Francisco, you've got to think about AIDS too. It's rising in our community faster than anybody else's, and young people, 18 to 24. So we could actually use somebody to lead us at a lot of problems that we're having. We've got a lot of self-inflicted problems, and we have societal things as well. And I think that's sort of what this thing is. So that's what I'm trying to, bring to it, my own personal slant of what I think we need.
The lighting, to me, lighting shouldn't be something that's really obvious, but maybe just heighten the scene a little bit, just give it some punch. And that's what I try to do, especially in scenes with Jesus. I try to get a little backlighting, so he's got like a little bit of maybe a bit of a halo effect around his head, that kind of thing. But you don't want it to be incredibly obvious. You want it to be a really subtle thing, so the audience isn't sitting there going, wow, cool lighting, and not paying attention to what's actually going on in the film. But the indoor scenes have been a lot more interesting to light than the outdoor stuff. The outdoor stuff, I basically just hope that it's sunny, and I got a bounce board and hold on to it so it doesn't bounce in the wind. But
so you've been like the main. In some ways, your job gives the film the overall feel.
Its look, that's the whole look of the film is basically between Kevin, who's our camera person, our cinematographer, and myself. We're really in charge of the look of the film.
The reason why I make the film, it was a dream, like it was a goal for me. It's something like one night I was sleeping and I dreamed about Christ, the life of Christ, and I dreamed about making a film about the life of Christ. So I said, that's what I'd like to do, and that's what I did. And that's one reason. I mean, I wanted people, African Americans, everybody, and blacks in particular, to see an image of a black Christ. Just the image itself, and then the story, follows behind it. The story is contemporary, but it still follows along. The gospel, the 4 gospels, though, it's metaphors. For instance, the apostles in the biblical story, biblical gospel, were fishermen, and in this story they're t-shirt vendors. The same thing, seeking sales, making a living. And so I use metaphors, but the story of Jesus Christ is still there. I picked out the stories that meant the most to me. You know, I didn't make a feature. This is a short. It's 45 minutes, 48 minutes long. So, you know, I didn't dwell on a lot of particulars of episodes in Christ's life, but I wanted to tell the episodes that happened and let people look at that and then, you know, discuss, you know, Christianity and discuss Christ, stuff like that. It's not to dispel or myth about the man of color, of Christ being black or of Christ being white, but it just deals with another aspect of the whole Christ spiritual phenomenon. And that's one of the main things that also inspired me is, you know, my own spiritual values and religious, you know, propagandizing the faith, so to say, you know, getting people to think about Christianity. I think in this world right now, people don't rely a lot on God. They rely on themselves and they rely on other people to get them to where they're going. I think people should turn their attention more to God, regardless of what religion you are. You know, God is, you know, is strong, you know, in my life. So I want to, you know, this is a spiritual thanks or, you know, contribution to the cause itself.
Greater love has no man than to lay down his life for you.
I love you, Jesus.
I love you, Jesus.
I love you, Jesus.
One of my favorite scenes, I have like a favorite scene and then I have a favorite shot in the film. I guess the reason why I have a favorite scene is because, you know, being an independent filmmaker and being a short independent film, you know, everything, the whole story doesn't necessarily come together exactly the way you want it because you're using, you know, actors that aren't being paid and you're using people's time. They have other jobs to go to. So sometimes you're rushing and sometimes you're doing things that, you know, beyond what you really can do, you know, and maybe I did that. Maybe a lot of people said the film was ambitious, but I have a favorite scene in the film and I have a favorite shot. There may be one and the same. And my favorite scene in this shot is where the apostles are doubting Jesus and they're arguing about whether Jesus really exists, and Jesus is there telling them, well, you know, can't really be Jesus because he's not on TV and he's not in the newspaper, and someone as phenomenal as Jesus, raising people from the dead and healing sick and, you know, saying that he's God, he would be on TV. And, you know, all the other apostles say, yeah, you know, that's true. And then Jesus walks up on him and, you know, he rebukes him, he admonishes him and say, you know, how could you say things like that? You know, I'm the one that loves you the most and I take care of you and stuff like that. And you're my closest friends and you guys don't even believe me, and how do you expect anyone else to believe in me? So,
you guys, think about it. Look at the newspapers, look at TV. There hasn't been any mention of any Jesus Christ at all. Now, hey, if he were the Son of God, wouldn't he be on TV? Everybody important's on TV.
That's true. Some people say he's a prophet.
A what?
I don't know. I mean, why would God come here?
Yeah, everybody says he's a fake.
And who do you say I am? Who do you say I am? How can others believe in me if my apostles doubt me? The ones I love most. Not one of you!
And that scene itself, I put together in like a half an hour because I had written the scene for another location, but I couldn't film at that location. You know, guerrilla filmmaking, you know, I didn't have permits and stuff like that. So I shot this film some other place, and I sat there and designed the shots in half an hour, and then we did it. And it came out, well, I really liked the film. It was shot so I could edit it really well, so that's what really made me happy about that scene. And my favorite shot of all, you know, it's not because I designed the shot or built it, but because it's the fire scene on the beach. That scene was shot on the beach where Jesus walks up the pyramid, and then the screen goes white, and then it zooms into a black, and there's fire, and Jesus is standing in the middle of the fire. That's the transformation scene. It's in the Bible, Jesus took the apostles up to the mountains, and he changed himself into his godly figure, and he showed the apostles his true being. And so that's what I was doing with that scene. And we went out to the beach, and it was really, really cold out there, and I built a fire around, in the circular, around Jesus, and lit it, and shot it, and it came out really well. I'm really happy with it. A lot of people that saw that scene really liked it, said that was a really beautiful shot. So that's my favorite shot, you know.
This is my beloved Son. Hear him.
My Lord. My God.
You know, I can't understand this. I mean, the whole world should be rushing here to see what's going on. He heals people's sickness, feeds thousands of people, and nothing. No one cares.
Do you really believe he's God?
Yeah, I know he's the Lord. I mean, I know it.
Oh man, it figures you'd say something like that. Well, guys, think about it. Look at the newspapers, the television set. There's no mention of any Jesus Christ at all. I mean, hey, if he was the Son of God, wouldn't he be on TV? Everybody else important news. Think about it.
That's true. Some people call him a prophet.
A what?
I don't know, brothers. I mean, why would God come here?
Yeah, everybody says he's fake.
And who do you say I am?
Jesus, hey man, we were just talking about you.
Directing this particular film, I didn't find it hard just because the cast and crew were large, because I had 30 crew members and 30 actors and actresses, and it's actually fun. This is something I like doing, making films, and the whole process, the whole filmmaking process. Getting directors and the crew to work together and all that. So the fact that the cast and crew was large, it wasn't anything. The cast and crew, they were great, and they got along really well. There were people that didn't know each other that came to this film and went away friends, and they still talk to each other now, and they were telling me themselves how much good friends they were now that they was on this crew. And I think it was a great learning experience for everyone. And I really believe that the multicultural cast was very necessary, because in the world, in my mind, doesn't exist in black and white. I mean, I know the realities of black and white, but in my mind, it's not black and white. It's multicolored, multicultural, and there's no way that I could walk down the street or anything happening in Christ's life, could it be just black or just white or just other. It would have to be with everyone. So that's the main important reason why my cast is multicultural, because Christ came for all of us, and all of us would play some part in his life, for what he was doing and what his mission on earth was.
I'm working on being a professional actor and have done some modeling, some commercial work, some voiceover work, and I'm trying to just get more experience in the field so that I can be prepared when that big opportunity comes up. And this is an excellent learning environment, and you get to learn more than just the acting part, but also that goes on behind the camera. What the crew does, the production manager, the cameraman, the boom person, I mean, just everything. And so it's just a really good environment, and everybody has been really supportive as well. We're working on certain scenes, like a scene that Mary and I did together, Erlene. You just get a lot of good positive feedback from one another, and that helps, whereas sometimes you could be in, let's say, the real world acting, and people may not be as willing to help you because they're more concerned about themselves.
Yeah.
So it's just a good nurturing environment, and it's helped a lot. It's been a very good experience, and I'm glad I've been a part of it.
Is it hard for you as an Asian actress? There's just not a lot of roles out there.
Yeah, initially you would think that it's hard because we're usually typecast as the hookers.
$10. Only $10 gets you what you want. You see anything you want?
Yeah, and always the ones in the background, whatever. But I've been lucky as a Filipina actress. I've been lucky because I've come into contact with a lot of Filipino playwrights who've been actually producing their works in real theaters, and so that's actually been really good.
And as of late, there have really been more parts for people of color in general.
Right.
So that's been really good, and there's just more work out there for us now. So it's encouraging.
Good. All right.
Hey, all right, Irving.
Hold it back. Hold it back.
No, it's just easier. Would you say you're a religious person? Were you able to bring your spirituality into that, or Christianity, or was it just a role to you, or how did you look at a part like that?
It's all of the above. Yeah, it's all of the above. I was brought up Catholic, a very strict Catholic upbringing. But then after, I would say in my junior high school years, I realized I had rights, that, you know, I didn't have to have my arms twisted to go to church and all that, so I became more of an agnostic. So yeah, the spirituality of it all came out, definitely. In terms of bringing what I know out during that scene, that particular scene you're talking about, feeling for someone, you know, when you're in love with someone, it doesn't necessarily have to be someone romantic to you. Anybody, you know, your sister, your mother, your brother, whatever. And just knowing or feeling, knowing how you feel if you saw them get hurt at whatever level. You know, that's what came out. That's what came out.
And we were there on the set. It just seemed to come natural. It just seemed like I was made to do it. That
you were born to do it.
Yeah, it's totally opposite of what I'm, the type of person I am. So.
Have you ever played parts like that before?
I played a blood junkie once.
Oh, what kind?
A blood junkie.
Oh.
That's I guess it's similar to a possessed man. It's like a zombie, or you know, you're dead, and you drink the blood of living people. And it's, so it was similar, but that was on stage, and this was my first film experience, so it was all kind of new to me.
Do you want to stick with the stage or stay in film since you had a taste of it here?
I like the films right now.
You like shooting on location?
For a while. Yeah. As long as it's not outside and cold.
Have you encountered much cold weather with this project?
At the beach last night was terrible.
This is a magazine like Vogue or Elle, same kind of thing, much more boring. This is film. Here's an example of film. Right here. This goes in here, which goes in the camera, which is what I do, which is fun, sometimes stressful. And then the camera makes these beautiful images that you'll see on the screen. My favorite scene so far was in Sunnydale, when Jesus was up on that mountain. It was very cool. It's a challenge, and I've learned a lot, and met some cool people too.
Oh.
But no, there were some really beautiful scenes in Sunnydale with the sun coming over that mountain and Jesus and Satan up on the top. It looked really cool. I hope it looks as good in film. I haven't seen the dailies yet. Isn't it funny how this big, ugly, bulky, mechanical thing makes beautiful images? Right here. Right here. Take one.
Action. We're tired of all this water rationing. We can't even take a shower or anything.
God help us. We can't take any more of this rationing water.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm interested in ancient Egypt when blacks had their own kingdoms and their own cities and they ran the world. That's what I'm interested in. Angel's doing something of that sort too. He's taken the life of Jesus Christ, but he's made it more contemporary. Hey, that's a unique thing to do, you know. So I'm interested in ancient Egypt, but portraying ancient Egypt as it really was, and not in contemporary terms. I leave that to Angel.
I've been asked when I was, getting my master's in film, and dealing with the myth or reality of a black Christ. I've always maintained that, it wasn't really significant to me whether Christ was black or white or other. I believe myself that Christ was a man of color because of the region he was from. He was Jewish in the biblical and historically. He was Jewish from the Middle East, where they are colored dark, some darker than others, but dark-skinned human beings. So I believe, that he could have been black, or if not, he was some darker colored individual. So, and it doesn't really affect me so much in the point that oh well, he was black. So I believe that because of the way things are, some people look at the world as black and white. If you say Christ was white, and you're white, you may feel some superiority, but you shouldn't, because then you should realize that Christ came for everyone and not just for whites or blacks. So the myth and reality, a reason why people argue whether Christ is white or black, doesn't really fit into my consciousness of the whole spirituality of Christ. So I believe Christ was a man of color, and I believe he came for everyone. So I have no qualms with with anyone loving Christ for the way he was.
Well, yeah, it was different because the parts that I usually play are really aggressive types, ghetto types. And then all of a sudden I get to play like this spiritual, okay, is this tight enough? And so what it is that, I got to play this person, Jesus Christ, which was different for me. And I think it was really challenging. And it really worked, with both of us, because it was a big contrast. I mean, this real evil guy, and I'm in this real passive, but I still stand firm. And it was just interesting.
Yeah, very much so.
Blessed are you hungry, you shall be filled. Blessed are you who are cursed for my sake, but woe unto you, you rich, extravagant bigots, for you shall hunger and weep. No emotions being played in the cold, but I'm cold.
Can you tell his lips are shivering?
It's really cold.
His lips are shivering. This question is for all of you. How did you feel about working with a black Jesus? How did you feel when you first... I think this is the first movie that I've ever seen
It's
where they've
about
had a black...
time.
It's
about time.
I think it's beautiful Jesus. I think he carries himself so well, and he's such a... it didn't make any difference once you saw him, because he is Jesus, the way he is and the way he looks. And I thought it was an interesting concept. Who can say what it was like?
He's very soft.
Who can say there wasn't a female apostle?
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean?
right,
Female Jesus.
Yeah.
I like
But,
that. Yes, that's right.
It's about time. It's about time to color piece. Imagination and pour over. So it's about time.
It was easy to accept it.
Why?
I like to help people out. Someone saw me with this shirt on, and they automatically ran over to me and asked me, can they borrow a quarter? So I guess they thought I would be a good person because I had this shirt on. And I gave them the quarter, but I guess they didn't realize that even if I didn't have this shirt on, I probably would have gave them a quarter anyway. It's the nature of the person. I'm not trying to do any kind of false advertising or anything like that I'm just this good person. But this is advertising for God, not for me. God is good. Anyone can wear this shirt. It's not specialized for anyone in particular.
Black films about jazz and blues, and I like to see a black Star Trek type film, with black people in the future and things like that. I think that type of stuff is important, that you have a wide range, that you have Indiana Joneses that are black and everything else, so that children actually do have free minds and see that there are other options for them besides ghetto.
Yeah.
Angel had sent a script to me through another actor that we both know, and told me to read it and asked me to decide which part I liked, and I was sort of drawn to more of the evil roles. And then he called me and told me that he wanted me to do Satan, which was good. He said either Satan or Judas.
He's just a really good evil person. Basically, he's good after evilism.
Do you like playing those type of sinister roles?
Well, it's sort of funny because I've always gotten typecast as the good guy Oreo, black guy next door, Mickey D's McDonald's type guy. All-American, class president type thing, Majiggy. And I guess I sort of actively went looking for roles that were different at one particular time. So now I'm getting both, which is good.
I really had fun on this film. I just hope that when people see it, whether they like it or not, that it inspires them to talk about Christ itself. It was a student-made film originally, so it does have some technical problems. But overall, the film, I think I accomplished what I set out to do, and most of the people that are viewing this film in screens and stuff, they enjoy it and they like the idea of seeing, the Christian story told in modern times, told, from a black perspective, and told with a black image, things like that. And there's not only a black Christ in there, there's also a black devil, Judas is black, and he's also, the person that plays Judas is also Satan. So Satan is black also, and it's not like a black on black or black on white thing, but it's the ideal of, Satan tormenting Jesus because Satan is bad, Jesus is good. So there's a little subplot there with Satan versus Jesus also. And, the two main characters, the Jesus character and the Satan character, I think they pulled it off pretty well. They're fine actors. And everyone in the cast and crew were just great. And we shot the film in 2 weeks, roughly 14, 15 days. And everyone just came together. I guess I realized if you feed someone well, I guess they'll work for you. So, we had a lot of fun on the film, making the film. And we learned a lot, not only about the filmmaking process, but also, we'd be in the middle of a shooting and we discuss, things about, well, is that what Jesus did? And then we get into biblical discussions. Is this what Jesus is about? Just based on the scenes themselves, part of the cast and crew would be on the side discussing those different scenes, So that all came together well. So I hope that anyone viewing this will, get something out of it, whether, from the filming of it or the religious aspects about it. And
Take two. Action.
You must have your 100